Okay, hello everyone, this is Kim and I'll start introducing my lab, Multidimensional Molecular Materials Laboratory. So here's our team. First we have our Professor Prof Koh. He got his bachelor's degree in Korea University in 2007, and he got his PhD in KAIST in 2013. After that, he worked as a postdoc in the very same lab and moved on to Georgia Tech for 3 years until 2017. Then became a professor in the Department of Chemical and Biomolecular Engineering at KAIST, and is currently as an associate professor with a total of 14 students in his lab. And here's the lab members. We currently have 5 master's students and 8 PhD students stationed in KAIST, and 2 additional, each in Korea Research Institute of Chemical Technology and Korea Institute of Science and Technology. So what we do is pretty simple. In one sentence, we separate things. So molecular-based separation based on either shape selectivity or diffusivity, or chemical potential, or sorptivity. So this topic is then expanded largely into 3 different categories, as you can see on the right. So advanced membrane separation, advanced structure sorbent, and smart integrated processes. The membrane-based separation is basically based on the shape selectivity or chemical potential selectivity for saturation of the permeate from the feed. And advanced structure sorbent can be the formation of nanoparticles with high absorption capacity or high absorption selectivity for separation of large gas molecules or carbon dioxide capture. So on the last note, so smart integrated processes is basically we move further from the fabrication of such 2 materials from the previous 2 notes, the membranes and sorbents, and we make them into actual industrial applicable standards. So this could be process building, for example, could be from building monomers to polymers to such forms like hollow fibers or monolithic fibers, and such fibers to modules to fit for separational reactions. So we currently have a lot of projects going on in each of the fields. So as you have seen, we have around 13 students stationed in KAIST, and each of us are handling more than 1 or 2 projects in hand. So in the first category, the advanced membrane separations, we are trying to separate out solvents or gases using technologies such as organic solvent for osmosis, OSFO, or reverse osmosis, RO, or OSN, the organosolvent nanofiltration. So the materials that we use are basically largely we can say in 2 different materials. First is carbon molecular sieves, which are carbon materials derived from porous polymers, and second is the polymeric materials like organosilicon membranes with defined pore sizes, or microporous polymers such as 6-FTA derived polyimides or polymers of intrinsic microporosity. And second is advanced structure sorbents. So we are targeting on, first of all, on sorbents structures, or tuning the sorbents for DAC of carbon dioxide from air. And we also further moved on from simple capture to making a catalyst for reactions such as hydrogen productions. And we are also trying to capture VOCs, or volatile organic compounds from air, using either MOFs, ZIPs, or even polymers that we have synthesized in the previous membrane separation steps. And third is smart integrated processes. So, like I said, we have produced a lot of different kinds of polymers of intrinsic microporosities, such as PIMs or PIM1 derived polymers, or 68 polyimides like 6-FTA DAM DABA, 68-FTA DAM, and we process those into forms such as hollow fibers, as you can see on the left, or just simple monolithic shapes, and then move on to making such things like membrane reactors for hydrogen production, or carbonation models that is basically a reactor that can react CO2 with minerals and water into solid forms for CO2 capture. So here's a panoramic picture of our lab. So we have a lot of equipment in our lab. So like you can see, this is the HPLC and BET surface measurement equipment, and our in-house built permeation boxes and VOC sorption materials. But we are not gonna go pretty deep on these, but let's see what's going on. So this is one of the main technologies in the lab. So this is a hollow fiber spinning system. We can basically produce up to, like I said, we want to tackle industrial scale synthesis of separation materials that's not only limited to the lab scale production. So our spinning system can produce up to 50 meters of fibers per minute, which, considering it's just one single fiber producing module, is pretty large and actually applicable to industrial scale as well. And the picture on the right here is PIM1 hollow fiber spinning system, spinning steps. And like I said, these fibers are packed into a module to be either used as sorbent materials or into a reactor that I've just talked about for CO2 conversion from minerals. And these two are the sorption measurement systems. That first is like I said, we do sorbent solvent separations, and we can basically measure the sorption capacity of the solvents, different VOCs or actual alcohols, and we can basically compute out the difference in the diffusivities based on the time scale of the sorption using this simple equipment. And this is we make a lot of porous sorbents such as moths or coughs, and we want to make sure how much of the surface areas that they have got. So using this equipment here, we measure how much nitrogen has absorbed onto the surfaces of such microporous materials, and this can compute out the actual surface areas that such microporous sorbents have. And this is a synthesis part of our lab. So we have a lot of strength lines. So we want to make inner conditions for our polymer synthesis. And this is so we fabricate the polymers here and form them into forms such as films or fibers. And we use our in-house built permeation system to measure the performance, or we use our in-house built breakthrough system. So this is what we use to see how much sorbent has captured over the time scale of the experiment. Currently we have a lot of sponsors here. So we are working with the government, 3 different topics going on with the government. We work with different companies such as Samsung or Saudi Aramco or Korea shipbuilding companies, and we also are funded by the Ministry of Science as well. Since the very short introduction of my lab, and thank you for listening.